Hi kids, my name is Firefighter Rick and I am here at Station 3 in Waterford, and I'm going to give you a tour of the hall and the equipment in the hall. And this hall has 3 trucks, it has a boat, and it has a Ranger, and we're going to look at all of those in a minute. First of all, I'm going to start with the pumper. So this is Pumper 3. It is the truck that pumps the water. It has all of the hoses on it that puts the water on the fire. Firefighters use the hoses to pump the water. It takes the water to the fire and is the initial truck that puts the fire out. And moving on to the tanker, this truck carries a lot of water, and if we go to a fire where there are no hydrants, like we have in Waterford, then this truck will bring the water to us, and the pumper will use the water from this truck to put out the fire. And this is the rescue truck. This truck carries all of the medical equipment on it, and this truck goes to medical calls, and it goes to car accidents. And it also has the tools on it that help people get out of the cars when they've been in a car accident. This is Boat 3. And if we have someone that needs to be rescued from the water, this is the boat that goes and pulls them out of the water for us. And this is Ranger 3. This is a special vehicle that we can take off-road if we have to go someplace where there are no roads and our trucks can't get there. This Ranger carries water on it and hose and can go to the fire if it's off-road.
Hi everyone, I'm Firefighter Corey, and this is the inside of Pumper 3 in Waterford Station. So inside of this pumper, you're looking at the driver's seat. That's where the driver drives this truck all the way to the fire call. And I'm sitting in the captain's seat. This is where the boss sits. He tells the firefighters what they're going to do when they get there. The driver has the ability to drive with the steering wheel. He also gets to turn on all of the lights. That's all these switches. And you can also talk to 911 on the radio. That's this right here. He can also operate the horn. The horn is right here in this button, and I'm not going to push it because it's way too loud when we're not going anywhere. This is the back of the pumper truck. This is where all the firefighters sit when they're on their way to a fire call. They sit in these chairs, and then they can put all their gear on, all that heavy coat and all the pants and their boots and their fire hat, and then they sit in the chair and they put on these special air bottles that are built right into the chair, right like this. They put these on like that so that when they get to the fire call, they're already dressed and they're ready to work. When you're the driver of a fire truck, you're also called the operator. And what that means is you're in charge of getting the water out of this truck and onto the fire. And the way the operator does that is by turning all these knobs and buttons to get water out of the hydrant, and we run the hose into the truck, and then goes through all these knobs and levers and fancy complicated stuff, and it comes out the hoses so the firefighters can put the fire out. They also use all of the tools in this bin to make sure that the water is going to come out safely and the right amount of water to do the job. There's some fun things at the back of this truck. One of the things we have is a big fan. All that smoke that's inside of a smoky house, we can blow out with this big fan so the firefighters can see. It makes them safe. This is also where all the hoses are. When a firefighter gets to a fire, they grab a hose and they go running into the fire as fast as they can so the operator can give them some water so they can put the fire out. The back of the truck also has an axe and a special tool we call a Halligan bar. These two tools are what we use to get into doors that are locked or into walls that are in our way that we can't get in to do our job. These are the special tools we use to get in a hurry.
So we're inside the cab of Rescue 3, and you can see the dash controls. We have all these switches that control the sirens and all the lights. You can see the radio that we use to talk to dispatch. And we have a touch screen here with all the controls on it for the cab. And up here is the driver's dash with all the gauges. So there's quite a lot going on up here, but we can drive to the scene safely, and we can get all the firefighters there. So this is the one compartment on the rescue, and it has the controls for a light tower on top of the truck that can light up a very large area of the town if we need to. So it's a telescoping light. That's the control for that. And as you can see, there are lots of spare radios, there's a telephone, and there's spare batteries for our equipment. And there's lots of spare air bottles for our air packs if we need them as well. Rescue 3 carries the tools that we need to get people out of cars if they've been in a car accident. So this tool is called the cutter. It's also called the jaws of life, and it's capable of cutting the doors off a car if we have to get the people out. And the other tool is called a spreader, and it's capable of prying open doors or hatches, or we can even pry the roof off if we need to. So this also helps us get people out of cars that have been in a car accident. Rescue 3, as we mentioned before, also goes to medical calls, and it carries the medical equipment right here in this cabinet. And we have a large bag here with all the things we might need if somebody needs some medical aid. And it also carries the AED or the defibrillator that we might need if somebody's having a heart attack. Tanker 3 has a very large water tank inside this cab body, and it holds 10,000 liters, which you could fill a medium-sized swimming pool with 10,000 liters of water. In order to get that water out quickly, we have a very large chute on this truck, and there's 3 of these, and any one of these chutes can dump all of that 10,000 liters in a couple of minutes. So we can get the water really fast where we need it.
I know what you're thinking. We're firefighters and these are fire trucks, so where's all the ladders? Well, on these trucks, you have to look up. The ladders are way up on the top. On both the tanker and the pumper, there's really big, really long ladders, but they're way up top, and we can't reach them. We actually have to use these switches, and the ladders come down to meet us so that we can use them in a fire.
Ranger 3 has a water tank on it. It's back in there, and it has a pump that will pump the water through this hose, and if we have a field fire, we can take this Ranger out into the field and put out that fire without having to drive the fire truck through the field.
911 is called. The firefighters rush into the fire station, get to their gear, and put their stuff on. Firefighter Rick is going to show us all of his gear as he puts it on. So Firefighter Rick is going to start with his boots. The firefighter boots are really strong. They've got steel in the toes, they've got steel in the back, so that if he steps on something sharp, it won't cut his feet. And you see his pants are already on his boots. They're already wrapped on so that he can get them on really quick. So he pulls the pants up and pulls the suspenders over his shoulders. The material in these pants is also really strong and really tough, so that he can't get cut, can't get hurt. It's also really warm, but it protects him from the fire. Firefighter Rick even has some tools on him. These tools are used for fixing the hose, putting the hoses together at a fire, turning the hydrants on and off. There's all kinds of uses for these tools. What else have we got? Your coat. Firefighter Rick's coat. Looks just like the pants, only it's got lots of reflective material on it, doesn't it? That reflective material is there so that he can be seen at night. If he's working at a car accident in the middle of the night, or if he's anywhere in a fire where it's dark, we can see him and he can stay safe. The inside of his coat kind of looks like a blanket, doesn't it? Look at that. It really is a blanket, but it's not designed to keep him warm at night when he sleeps. It's designed to keep him cool, because the fire is so hot outside, the blanket is keeping his body cool inside. But it's also really heavy. When Firefighter Rick has all of this equipment on, it's going to be like carrying one of you on his shoulders. Firefighter Rick's coat is a little bit different. It has lots of pockets on it, and lots of places for tools, and it's also got these fancy little things on the arms. These little cuffs that are on his hands are attached to the coat. So that way when Firefighter Rick is crawling inside of a house in a fire or in a smoky place, his coat doesn't ride up on his arm and make his arm out where the fire is. So Firefighter Rick has a really, really fancy coat. What else have we got? Oh, the air bottle. This is Firefighter Rick's air bottle. This bottle has enough good, clean air for him to breathe for about 20 minutes or so. He puts this on, and so this way he can breathe in good air if he's in a fire. He doesn't have to breathe in smoky air. Since you guys don't have any of these at home, we want you to get out of the fire as fast as you can. Get out and stay out, is what we like to call it. But Firefighter Rick has to go in and put out the fire, so he gets one of these bottles. It looks heavy, doesn't it? It is heavy. It's a real fancy machine. This dial over here, sorry, I'm getting in his way. This dial over here shows Firefighter Rick how much air is left in his bottle. So while he's working, he can look on that dial and he can see, I'm almost out of air, I have to go out and I'll send another firefighter in to do the job where I left off. There's the bottle on the back. The air comes out of the bottle into this hose and all the way around to Firefighter Rick. But it's not to his mouth yet. We got to get a mask on. That weird sound is Firefighter Rick turning on the air bottle so that the air is going to work. There's lots of safety devices built into this. If it starts making noise, we'll explain that in a minute. So this is the regulator. This is the other end where the air is coming out, goes into this device, and then this device hooks onto Firefighter Rick's mask. There, he's breathing air. He almost looks like a full firefighter, doesn't he? Now what's he missing? Oh right, he's missing his hat. Firefighter Rick has to have a firefighter helmet on. Firefighter Rick's helmet has all of this protective stuff around it so that no smoke and no fire can get into him anywhere. His ears are covered, his hair is covered, his neck is covered, everything is covered up so that Firefighter Rick can be safe in a fire. Now, do you hear those beeps and those bings that are going on? That's a special device built into this air pack. If Firefighter Rick stops moving for any reason in a fire, it means he's probably hurt. So if he stops moving, this device starts to make lots of noise like that. That tells us that he's hurt and he needs help. And then we can go in and get him. And when he wiggles, it turns off. That's why he's doing his little dance like that. So what do you think? Does Firefighter Rick look like a scary guy? Yeah? No. Firefighter Rick is not a scary guy at all. He's a firefighter and he's coming to help you. So if you see a firefighter like this, and he's asking you to come with him, you need to go with him because where you are isn't safe, and he's going to take you to a safe place. Cool. Thanks, Firefighter Rick.
Well, that's the end of our tour. Thanks for coming out to our station. And if you ever need help with anything, you're having an emergency, make sure you dial 911 for police, fire, or ambulance. And make sure it's an emergency. If you're out of ice cream, that's not an emergency. So I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for coming